Hey there, Cosmic Warriors, and welcome back to another video. And if you are new here, my name is Hannah. I am a Western Practical Astrologer. Okay, so in today's video, we are going to be talking all about the Jupiter sign. So we're going to be exploring how you're blessed based on your Jupiter sign. Now, before we do dive in, make sure to like, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff. Let me even know, what is your Jupiter sign? Let us know in the comments. And with that, let's present this information. Jupiter in astrology, Jupiter through the signs. Now, I do want to make you aware of my astrology products. And if you would like to book a reading with me, you can go to hannahselsewhere.com. Yeah, you can find my astrology products over there, guides, cheat sheets, all that good stuff. It would be great to work with you. And also, I want to say thank you so much to my patrons over at Patreon for all of your support. And if you would like to gain early access to new videos, ad-free, plus PDF guides, etc., you can become a member of the Patreon. It's a great way to support what I do on here. Thank you so much. Okay, so the inspiration for this video. Over on my podcast, the Cosmic Check-In Podcast, episode 10, I talk all about Jupiter in astrology there. So if you want just more in-depth information about Jupiter, what is Jupiter all about in astrology, make sure that you listen to that episode. And that is a big part of why we're here today, because in that episode, we explored how Jupiter is so much about our blessing. So just to give you some information, useful information about Jupiter before we get into each of the signs, Jupiter can really point toward where you are blessed, where you feel like you're even gifted. Like there's gifts and there's talents that can be presented through and via Jupiter. Now, what I want to say about this is, when it comes to feeling blessed, there's some nuances to this. Because here's the thing. A person's blessings refers to the things they are most grateful for. When we feel blessed, we experience things like gratitude and greater happiness. But you see, the opposite is also true. When we are grateful, we may also feel blessed, right? We feel happier. It's sort of like being able to see all the things that you do have and to recognize those things and to feel grateful for them. So within that, you may say, I am blessed, right? Our blessings then are seen as beneficial, beneficial, and also as good. Luck then can also be connected to our blessings. This is because we often feel lucky when we are blessed, right? When we're blessed with things like good health, love, security, you're more willing to say, like, I am blessed whenever you can really appreciate all that you have. And whenever you are in good health, great health, then you're going to feel a lot more blessed. It's that whole saying of, health is wealth, right? So if your health is not so good, then you may not feel so blessed. However, when we do feel like we're not blessed, we might see ourselves as unlucky. We might see ourselves as unfortunate, and we may also kind of feel hopeless in a way. So I want you just to remember this when it comes to exploring Jupiter within the chart. And it is your Jupiter placement then that indicates your blessings. It is seen to be quite a beneficial thing, an area to become familiar with, because it's tied to things like growth and expansion and opportunities, fortune, gifts, all of these things. Naturally, what I want to say about this is there's more to Jupiter than this, right? Because Jupiter is so much more. Jupiter can also represent where we feel like we're being guided. There's a sense of guidance. There's a sense of belief, right? So what are your spiritual beliefs? What are your philosophical beliefs? Self-exploration is also seen via Jupiter within the chart, and we can expand, not just expanding, what we have in a material way, but, expanding our consciousness. And maybe this is the higher kind of function of Jupiter, because hey, Jupiter is so much better higher mind, right? In astrology, Mercury and Jupiter, you could see Mercury as like more of the logical mind, more of our sort of everyday ways of viewing the world and perceiving things, whereas Jupiter is more of that higher consciousness, that higher awareness, how we're connected even to the divine in this regard. But of course, it depends on what you believe at the same time. So I wanted to say that. Plus, I wanted to mention that when it comes to Jupiter, we can go overboard. We can overdo it. And because there can be this limitlessness to Jupiter, it is possible to bite off more than we can chew, to spread ourselves way too wide. Now, before we get into your signs, I also want to mention a couple of things. Every 12 years, you are going to experience a Jupiter return. So we explored in the Saturn videos that on average, you're going to experience like 2 or 3 Saturn returns throughout your life. It really depends on how long you live. But with Jupiter, on average, you could experience 6 to 7 Jupiter returns if you live until your 80s. So every 12 years ago or so, 12 years or so, it's sort of like an opportunity to have that moment of, okay, new blessings coming through, or okay, how have I been blessed these past 12 years? What have I learned throughout this 12-year journey of Jupiter moving through all of the signs in my chart? What's come up for me? What am I grateful for? How have I grown? That's a big thing. How have I grown? That's that question. What is my meaning? What is my higher meaning within all of this? Plus, one more thing. The Jupiter return could very well align with your year 1 annual perfections. So annual perfections is something I just want to explain briefly. We're not going to get into too much detail, but if you kind of imagine it like every year, so every year that you are alive, a certain house is activated within your chart, and it starts from year 1. Now, this is technically 0, yes, because you're 0 and then you turn 1, yes, but still the first year, so year 1, if you understand. So every 12 years, we return back to the first house. The first house is the house of self-discovery, new beginnings, new chapters, identity, goals, aims, things like this, intention setting, things like this. So you could look at the Jupiter return in a way aligning with that 12-year cycle, that 12-year process. So maybe a useful thing is to look at, okay, what's going on in the first house for you? And then consider whenever a Jupiter return comes up, what's happening there? What chapters, what new beginnings may be ushered in for you? It's just a quick thing to maybe assess for yourself. All right. With that being said, let's now dive into each of the Jupiter signs. All right, so beginning with Jupiter in Aries, your self-exploration involves knowing your identity, your strengths, your sexual drives, and your motivations. Even asking yourself the why, right? Because Jupiter is about our meaning, the why behind the things that you do. You find meaning and inspiration in leadership, right? Being a leader, being a trailblazer, being the first person to do something, being the first person to innovate perhaps a certain piece of knowledge or wisdom. And some of your gifts, some of your blessings include being courageous and being innovative. Having this way of, okay, let's innovate this. Let's start this. Let's initiate here. And having that bravery behind you, and even building upon that momentum. You're naturally sort of honest and optimistic. Oh yeah, you can be very optimistic in this way, very positive, and you seek opportunity anywhere you go. It's almost like, you have this gift of being able to walk into any experience and being able to say, right, what is the opportunity in this? And there is a desire to make a name for yourself. Feeling blessed then is really tied to things like your confidence, your independence. And there is this free spirit part of you that really comes out. Whenever you have that room, that opportunity to be independent, like when you can grow in all of those different directions, then yeah, you're going to feel a lot more eager, and there is that like freedom that yes, I can do this. You're uplifted. Perhaps solo travel, sales, enterprise, or lecturing are parts of your future aspirations. You could even be very gifted within these areas. Coaching could be a big thing here. However, it is likely that you're very impulsive. You can be overzealous, super careless as well, getting into accidents, which, hey, you may come to discover these along your self-exploration journey of how to kind of manage those a bit so that you can, really utilize this energy in a more effective way, in the way where you're like, yes, I actually do feel like I'm winning here. I feel like I'm winning here. Jupiter in Taurus, folks. Your self-exploration involves knowing your values, knowing your comforts, your talents, and your inner security. There's just something here about really feeling secure from within yourself. Now, this is the interesting thing. As a collective, we experienced Jupiter in Taurus throughout 2023. And so these themes really came up for us. But still, in a natal way, you sort of live with this energy, right? So you find meaning and inspiration in things like beauty, wealth, materials, art, being creative, resourceful as well. You could come up with, really big and wide ideas to do with your resources. And some of your gifts, some of your blessings may include being artistic, being creative, being very soothing as well, right? To be this soothing force and very supportive and sturdy, to be this sturdy, grounded individual. You're naturally generous. You're naturally consistent too. I mean, that consistency is something that really came up for us whilst Jupiter was in Taurus as well throughout 2023. And patience, oh my goodness, yes, patience was a big, big theme. And so for you, if you have Jupiter in Taurus, you may find that it's your patience that can really assist you, right? Assist you with opportunity. You may seek opportunity within the natural world. So this is what I'm saying too. You can be really resourceful. You possess as well an appreciation for things like music, fashion, maintaining your security. And feeling blessed is tied to, like I was saying, your patience and being practical. Being practical. Maybe investing, real estate, business, or environmental ethics. These things are a part of your future aspirations, or hey, thinking about fashion, beauty, art, these areas too. Working with finances. However, it is likely that you're very stubborn and stuck in your ways. Attitudes can go overboard. Yes, you can be overly cautious and reluctant to change, just very much, I'm not moving. Naturally, again, when we think about the transit that we experienced with Jupiter being in Taurus throughout 2023, whilst this could be seen as more of a, okay, why are you not moving? Why are you not budging? Maybe you need to move on from that. You could also look at this as a kind of gift in a way too. It just, of course, it depends on the actual context, but maybe if you have Jupiter in Taurus, you can recognize sometimes in your life where you think to yourself, wow, I really stayed in that for far too long. Or there can be times in your life when you think, I'm actually really glad that I stuck to that, because me not moving, me not budging actually resulted in something better along the road, right? Still, these are some potential weaknesses you may discover along your exploration journey there. Rightio, let's now move on to Jupiter in Gemini. Jupiter in Gemini, folks. Your exploration involves knowing your communication skills, your curiosity, your humor, and your many ideas. You may have so many ideas, exploding with them. Hey, we are currently in the middle of Jupiter in Gemini. Jupiter is going to be in Gemini from, well, basically for the next year. Okay, it's for the next year. We are working with this energy. So Jupiter entered Gemini at the end of May, will be there for the year. Still, with you having Jupiter in Gemini, you may know all too well just how you want to go in all different directions. It's like you want a big piece of this thing, a big piece of this thing, and you can switch things up. You certainly can switch things up, and you may find meaning and inspiration in this, right? In learning as well, being able to learn, being able to teach, being able to even share, right? To share what you've been learning about, but to do so maybe in these very like concise ways, or with by doing so in this is a nugget of knowledge. This is a nugget of information. Still, you come to really learn about your gifts and your blessings, which include being versatile and multidimensional. Yeah, being multidimensional. We could see this with Jupiter in Gemini over the next years, but still for you, you really showcase this, right? You are this person who is naturally multidimensional and also articulate, inventive, creative. There's always something else to learn. There's always something new to discover. You seek opportunity within the information you read. So, you could be reading something and it's like, oh, there's a potential opportunity to, jump on that, go. So that could really, that gift of yours could help you grow and expand and open doors up to new opportunities. Your intellectual abilities can kind of make you feel larger than life. It's like, wow, I didn't realize I had this much access to all of this information. This is amazing. And feeling blessed then is really tied to your wit and tied even to your connections, your ability to socialize, your ability to kind of chit chat and pick up on what is being said around you and relating to other people. Perhaps things like teaching, presenting, reporting, advertising, right? Just fields that really involve media are a part of your future aspirations, right? These areas. However, it is likely that you're very scattered, right? That could be a big thing. Very scattered and just all over the place. And it's hard to focus then on one thing at a time. Okay. You can be overly unfocused and perhaps even superficial. So these would be potential weaknesses that you come to discover along your self-exploration journey. Right. Jupiter in Cancer, folks. Your self-exploration involves knowing your emotional needs, knowing your moods, empathy as well, and your living situation. You find meaning and inspiration in caregiving. And this, of course, could be related to literally caring for your children, caring for your family, but this could also relate to caring for a project, a hobby, a plant that you have, pets that you have, whatever have you, even a caregiving role, right? Professionally, that could be a big thing, like nursing or, being a doctor or something like this. And some of your gifts include being nurturing, being even intuitive, right? To be very intuitive and kind and caring and more feelings focused. Just want to say quickly, of course, Jupiter, it exalts in Cancer. There is this kind of natural way of being sentimental and just moved by emotions. And it's not really judging emotions, basically. It's just allowing them to be free, if you will, and to feel how you feel. Wisdom for you, spiritual wisdom, even, if you give people space to do that. Still, you seek opportunity within the world of feelings. Okay, you could pick up on a certain emotion or a feeling from someone, and that could be an opportunity, a door to kind of, okay, step through that. What could be gained from that? Or how can you give there? How can you be generous there to support that other person? And you feel strongly and you care deeply, right? Jupiter expands whatever it touches. That's a big thing with Jupiter. So yeah, your feelings can be very strong, and how much you care for your loved ones or certain people in your life, it's like, yes, I care strongly, deeply. Feeling blessed then is tied to your kindness and your introspection, right? Your ability to reflect, your ability to be kind and caring and supportive. Maybe catering, homemaking, interior design, or preparing food are parts of your future aspirations. However, it is likely that you can be very moody or just really taken away or caught up in your emotions, right? Your moods can fluctuate. There could be these huge waves that you experience. You can be overly clingy or maybe even suspicious or perhaps quite fearful at times. There can be those strong attachments that you have, and it's like, I don't want to let go of that. So these would be potential weaknesses that you can come up against, or that you discover really along your own self-exploration journey, Jupiter in Cancer. Right, so let's now move on to Jupiter in Leo. All right, if you've got Jupiter in Leo, your self-exploration involves knowing your creations, your hobbies, your self-expression, your love life, right? Coming to really, learn about, what do I enjoy? What do I love? What am I passionate about? Who do I love? And how do I express myself authentically? You find meaning and inspiration in things like entertainment and performance, right? Maybe you love to put on a show, or you're fascinated by people who can do that really, really well. And some of your gifts may include being charismatic, being really confident, right? You may not even have to try hard in this way. You just come across as naturally confident. And because of that, people may really listen to you or respect you or say very, very kind things about you. You're naturally even dignified. You're full of vitality, just full of energy, full of life. Of course, when it does come to astrology, I just want to say this. We also have to think about the whole chart aspects and everything else, but we're just focusing on each of these signs here. So do consider your own chart. Still, you seek opportunity within creativity. So whenever you are being creative, or whenever you are maybe watching a show, listening to a song, doing some writing, whatever it is, or you're reading perhaps, you can draw from certain opportunities there. You can see those connections. You can feel really inspired even by these things. Jupiter is very much about inspiration as well. You may want to experience joy and just celebrate life, right? You're just someone who loves to celebrate life. You love to celebrate yourself. You love to celebrate other people. And there is this joy and this positivity that you bring to the world. And people feel that, right? People feel that warmth just oozing out of you. Feeling blessed then is really tied to things like your individuality and your self-expression. It's like you feel blessed, you feel really good about yourself whenever you are able to express yourself more organically, authentically. Maybe drama, art, being a leader, or having children are parts of your future aspirations. Naturally, you could also look at this as just creating in general, right? It could be, yes, having children, but this could also look like you creating your own version of something, script or a book or a movie, whatever it is. And you can be overly dramatic at times, or kind of, pompous at times, or you can be easily offended in this way. It's like, how dare they say that, so these could be potential weaknesses that you come to discover along your own self-exploration journey there, Jupiter in Leo. Right, so let's now move on to Jupiter in Virgo. Jupiter in Virgo, I have this placement, by the way. So your self-exploration involves knowing your routines, your diet, your health, and your working life, right? Being able to kind of make sense of, okay, what is the best routine? What is the best order? This is certainly something that I've tried to refine over the years. I also have Saturn in the 6th house, which I talked about in one of my previous videos. But basically with Saturn there as well, what that means is it has taken some time for me to really get right with, okay, how can I have a really effective routine here? Still, for you, this is so much about self-exploration, right? So you find meaning, you find inspiration in the services you offer. And it has to be like, yes, I am inspired by this. I feel good about this. And some of your gifts may include being analytical, being very systematic, right? You could be very, very gifted, very talented at being able to look at, okay, this is the system, or this is how something functions and operates. I'm going to learn about that. I'm going to use my skills, my analytical skills, to learn about that. And also, I would say being able to sort of make knowledge practical, to make it useful, so people can integrate it within their everyday lives. This could be a certain gift or a talent that you have. Yes, you're naturally helpful, reliable, dedicated. You seek opportunity within the daily tasks you complete. You prefer to live a life of simplicity as well, and I relate to this so much. I prefer simplicity. If I can sense that things are getting too out there or too chaotic or I'm overwhelmed, there's too many things, I need to strip it back and think about what is the most kind of simple way of doing this, or how can I feel more refreshed here? Feeling blessed then for you is tied to your conscientiousness and, hey, being health conscious. I think when it comes to you, you're going to be very much concerned about, okay, what about my body? What does my body need? So perhaps nutrition, research, crafts, or exercise, these things are part of your future aspirations. However, it is likely that you're very fussy and you're hard to please. You can see how I'm trying to say, no, screw perfectionism. Just got to go with it, right? Doesn't have to be perfect before I post it or whatever. And yes, so these are some potential weaknesses you may discover along your self-exploration journey. Jupiter in Libra. Your self-exploration involves knowing your social skills, relationships, relatability, and teamwork. Oh yes, I know a couple of people in my life, very close people to me who have Jupiter in Libra, and they are all about teamwork. Okay, it's like if you are doing a task with someone who has Jupiter in Libra, you need to be involved. There has to be that involvement, and they're going to be able to pick up on, oh, that's not fair. You're not doing your part. That's just an observation that I've noticed. Still, you find meaning and inspiration in partnership. And some of your gifts include things like being diplomatic, right? Being fair. This is what I was saying. You can be really fair, even in that situation of being being involved in a task. If you have Jupiter and Libra, you're also going to pick up on, oh, well, I'm not actually like doing my part here. I'm not doing anything. You can feel that. So you may add that fairness, add that balance by going, right, I'm gonna get involved. Still, yes, gifted at being diplomatic, gifted at using negotiation skills, perhaps making you very good when it comes to business relationships and partners and things like this. You can read people really well too. You're naturally good-mannered and you're naturally sort of thoughtful, sort of thoughtful of other people's opinions and views, and even being able to place yourself into other people's shoes, that could be a big thing. You seek opportunity within your sort of dealings, the dealings with others, the deals that you make, the contracts that you sign, the business partnerships that you're a part of. Yes, and you know how to collaborate. You know how to collaborate brilliantly. Feeling blessed then is tied to things like your appearance, but also your observations. I even look at this as you knowing how to kind of style yourself. I think that matters to you. Yeah, you can be quite appearance conscious in this way, and you just care about your appearance and even how you come across, which is not necessarily like I don't want to look at this as a bad thing. But then yes, observations, you could be blessed. Like, you could be someone who picks up on simple observations and they come out later on to be true. Maybe hosting, law, mediation, or fashion are parts of your future aspirations. However, it is likely that you're very indecisive. You can be overly insincere, even judgmental at times. So these would be some of your potential weaknesses that you come to discover along your self-exploration journey. Okay, let's now move on to Jupiter in Scorpio. If you've got Jupiter in Scorpio, your self-exploration involves knowing your personal power. That's a big thing. Your passions, your sexuality, and your occult interests. What are you really interested in when it comes to the occult, when it comes to things that are more mysterious and hidden? You find meaning and inspiration in investigation, being able to look beneath the surface. And some of your gifts include being really, really perceptive and compassionate. And that can be powerful. That can be a really powerful place to be because it kind of suggests that you're gifted at understanding other people on a deeper level, maybe deeper than what they may be able to comprehend for themselves at times. You're naturally mysterious and compelling. Yeah, you get right to the core, right to the heart of situations. But yeah, you can also appear like, especially at the beginning, very mysterious, hard to read. Gifted in this way, though. And you seek opportunity within things that are hidden out of clear view. This is really where you can make changes. You can kind of see, well, what's not being said, what's not being communicated, what are people not seeing here? And then you can, go from there. And then people are like, whoa, I didn't see that before, but you brought it up to me. Yeah. You possess a strong determination as well to succeed, right? Scorpio, very determined sign, strong determination, like I said. So yeah, there is a real push to want to succeed. Of course, Scorpio is ruled by Mars after all. Mars is this planet of winning. Feeling blessed, though, is tied to your insight, but also self-mastery. It's your ability to have some type of control of your life and to have this self-mastery when it comes to what you know and when it comes to your emotions as well. Yeah, very blessed in this way. And like I said, blessed when it comes to your insight. Very powerful observations. Perhaps science, psychology, business, or research, maybe even engineering, these things are parts of your future aspirations. However, it is likely that you can be like very suspicious, overly suspicious, maybe at times sort of crafty, kind of moving in the shadows at times, or being overly, hey, could be jealous, could be overpowering. Not saying that that is necessarily, something to be ashamed of. And I'm not saying it in a judgmental way. When it comes to jealousy, it's a very normal human emotion. But still, maybe these are certain things that you come to discover along your self exploration journey. And if these things do become, excessive, right, because Jupiter can point toward excess, where we go overboard, then this is where we're going to see here these potential weaknesses and issues. But hey, anything Scorpio, it's about renewal. So you could go through transformations when it comes to these areas too. Okay, let's now move on to Jupiter in Sagittarius. All right, Jupiter in Sagittarius. Of course, Jupiter is home here in Sagittarius. I just want to say quickly, because Jupiter does rule Sagittarius, but basically, your self exploration involves knowing your higher knowledge, your understandings of things, your beliefs, your morals, your travels. You find meaning and inspiration in growth and expansion. This is really where you come alive, if you will, or this is where you feel the most joyous or like larger than life. You want to be able to grow and expand in all different directions. And some of your gifts, some of your blessings may include being hopeful, being wise, or even just using great foresight, right? You can use that great foresight to visualize things or to make things happen in your life. You're naturally open and adventurous. And perhaps it's that openness that kind of makes you like a magnet to different life experiences and situations. You just have this essence about you. You seek opportunity within the places you travel to as well. And hey, opportunity when it comes to the higher knowledge that you learn about. There could be just so many different places you want to see, so many different things you want to dive into, and you have a larger than life outlook. This glass is half full outlook too, perhaps. The sky is the limit here, Jupiter and Sagittarius. Feeling blessed then is tied to your experiences. What have you experienced? And your faith as well, your beliefs. It's about, this is the path that I have lived, and these are the experiences that I have. And yeah, just feeling very blessed about those. Perhaps lecturing, publishing, sports, or promoting are parts of your future aspirations. However, it is likely that you're very argumentative when you need to be. It can be difficult to kind of get through to you whenever you believe that something is so true for you. And you can be overly self-righteous, and maybe you can take too many risks. That's a possibility, right? Going overboard there. So yes, these are some potential weaknesses you may discover along your self-exploration journey, Jupiter in Sagittarius. All right, so let's now move on to Jupiter in Capricorn, folks. Okay, Jupiter in Capricorn. Your self-exploration involves knowing your achievements, your purpose, your status, and your commitments. Opposite to Jupiter in Cancer, I want to say, like I was saying, right? Jupiter in Cancer, it means it's exalted. But Jupiter in Capricorn means it's in its fall. So there could be this feeling of, at times, I'm not very lucky, good things don't happen to me. That could be a thing. Or it could feel like you have to really make your own opportunities. You have to create your own luck and blessings, if you will, in this life. But hey, that's not necessarily a bad thing or a negative thing. Still, the self-exploration really is about your really knowing your purpose, right? What you want to succeed within or at. And you find meaning and inspiration in accomplishment. Yes. In fact, some of your gifts here may very well include discipline. Being disciplined, being reasonable, being mature. This is where we notice some of your blessings. And you're naturally respectable and determined. You seek opportunity within success and hard work. So even though it can feel like, oh, I'm having to put it in all of this work in order to make these things happen, what happens is things start to expand more and more and more and more. And then you think, oh, wow, okay, I can see the opportunities here. I can see what I can do here with this. And you can think even about the long haul. You can use that foresight to think about the long haul. And you show great integrity and you prefer to see results. You want to see those tangible results. Feeling blessed then is tied to your planning, it's tied to organization. Feeling blessed is even tied to maturity, the wisdom that you have to share. Now, I want to say this, when it comes to anything Capricorn, you have to think of it as more of a longer thing, right? It's more about the long haul. It's more about the time influence there. So do keep that in mind, that you got to just work with this. You just got to give your Capricorn placement some time, people. Perhaps sponsorship, business, politics, self-employment, entrepreneurship, working in the public sector. These things are parts of your future aspirations. However, it is likely that you can be very rigid, perhaps too negative, too pessimistic. And this is where maybe you can fall a little bit. Maybe this is where the fall in Capricorn can be really shown, because it's like you may start to expand, you may start to see the results, but then your negativity can kind of like spiral a bit. And then you feel actually like, oh, I'm not very blessed. Now, you can be overly limiting then in this way and narrow-minded. So it's just trying to bring awareness, I think, to when you can be overly narrow-minded. So these are potential weaknesses that you may discover along your self-exploration journey, Jupiter in Capricorn. Let's now look to Jupiter in Aquarius. Of course, this is another Saturn-ruled sign. So you could also look at this as the energies of Aquarius, so whatever placements you have in Aquarius, more so playing out a bit later on in life. So there could be these elements to it, but your self-exploration involves knowing your inventions, your communities, your teams, your hopes for the future. It's so interesting to me because I know of someone who has Jupiter in Aquarius, and because of their ability to innovate when it comes to communities, it's funny to kind of see and observe how many people have now come into that space. So if you have Jupiter in Aquarius, you could be that person, right? You could be that inspiration for other people. You may find then meaning and inspiration in being this visionary, being a humanitarian possibly, and being an inventor, right? Being someone who can think outside of the box. And you may really care about inventing something new, inventing something that is your own. And some of your gifts and your blessings then include being free thinking, because you are free thinking and you're not going to let everybody else's sort of views really matter so much and sink in as much. Then you may have an opportunity to actually branch out more, and also to be non-conforming, because it is like, no, I'm still sticking to what I know. I'm not going to conform to the rest of society, stuff like this. Then again, this is where we see your growth. And you're naturally quirky. You're naturally independent, and you can give off this, larger than life influence within groups that you're a part of. You seek opportunity within the groups that you join as well. Yeah, you can form, amazing connections. It's like this person knows this person and that person, the other person. It's just that connective piece. And you want to find your place then within it all, within the tribe. It's amazing because you can sort of be like, okay, I find my place within the tribe, but I'm also detached and I know myself within it as well. And you still kind of hold this focus of, well, these are my beliefs within it. Feeling blessed then is tied to your uniqueness, how friendly you are, how open you can be with other people, how kind you can be too. Perhaps networking, technology, science, societal sort of issues, these things are parts of your future aspirations. Helping other people, this type of stuff, joining charities, causes, movements. However, it is likely that you can be very tactless, right? Very tactless in how you deliver information. Even think of it like Jupiter can be representative of how we preach and how we share information. So you could do this in a tactless way. With the emotion removed from it, which again, that's not necessarily a bad thing, but it can just come across as that way. It can come across at times as like, oh, that was really cutthroat, right? And you can also be inappropriate at times. These are some potential weaknesses you may discover along your self-exploration journey. Okay, so lastly, we have Jupiter in Pisces. Okay, again, Jupiter is home, right? So Jupiter is the traditional ruler of Pisces. So Jupiter is home here. Jupiter in Pisces, your self-exploration involves knowing your spirituality, knowing your sacrifices, right? What sacrifices you have made, knowing, how compassionate you can be, and your devotions, right? This could be a devotion to a higher power, for instance. You find meaning and inspiration in a higher power. Again, this could be more so spiritual related. This is what we're noticing. And your inner faith is also strongly highlighted. You can be highly intuitive, and perhaps even you gravitate towards symbolism very, very strongly. And some of your gifts may include being psychic, having these psychic abilities, and being gentle as well, or being very, healing. You could be this very healing, refreshing sort of influence in somebody else's life. Yeah, this is where we notice some of your gifts and your blessings. And you're naturally sympathetic. You're naturally sensitive toward other people's stuff. And this could be even on a more collective scale, because, Pisces is tied to the collective unconscious. So you could be really quite in tune with, okay, how is the collective unconscious feeling? And there's that empathy and that sensitivity that's spread out. Naturally, with that being said, anything, Pisces related, especially with Jupiter being there, because you can go overboard, it's important to have those healthy boundaries in place. Yes, maybe Saturn being in Pisces over the next couple of years here, just current times, can be really helpful for you to establish those boundaries. Still, you seek opportunity within the realms of things like magic, mystery, emotional freedom could also be a big thing for you. And you may subconsciously tap into dimensions beyond this world. Beyond this world. You could very well bring information from other worlds, if you will, and then share them. And then people are like, wow, that is incredible. And you can even come across as very poetic, just very poetic in how you deliver that information. Feeling blessed then is really tied to, well, your healing and your imagination. This is what we see. Whenever you have that ability to go within and to think about, okay, what about myself? How can I help myself? And also, whenever you can tap into your imagination through art or music or whatever it is, film, then this is where we see you feeling blessed. Perhaps volunteering, mediumship, social work as well, film, photography. These things are a part of your future aspirations. You may be very interested in these areas, or just, helping people, even helping people who may feel very lost or alone within society. However, it is likely that you can be troubled by reality quite a lot. And maybe this is why it's important to have that kind of separation at times, right? To have those healthy boundaries in place at times, to even just recognize your own energy levels within it all, because you can be like this cosmic sponge, right? Just taking it all in. Yes. So yeah, you can be troubled by reality, and you can be overly self-pitying, perhaps gullible too. So anyway, these are some potential weaknesses that you may discover along your self-exploration journey, Jupiter in Pisces. Right, so that is everyone. That's all of the Jupiter signs today. Thank you all so much for watching. I really do hope that you find this video to be helpful. Again, just to let you know about the Patreon, if you're interested in joining, thank you so much to my patrons over at Patreon. And if you do wish to join, the link is just down below. And with that, thank you all so, so much for listening today. And if you would like to book a reading with me, you can visit my website, hannahselsewhere.com. And if you really enjoyed this video and you find it to be helpful, you can always buy me a coffee. The link is just there. But hey, there is no pressure. There's no pressure to do anything here. It's just really all up to you. But overall, thank you all so much. Again, make sure to subscribe, hit the like button, click the bell, all that good stuff to keep yourself updated with more content from myself. And do let me know your Jupiter sign below and if you're related to your Jupiter sign. Thank you all again, and I will talk to you in the next video. Bye!